Have you ever felt the weight of others' emotions as if they were your own? It can feel like you're standing in an invisible field of energy, where every emotion that brushes against you leaves a subtle but powerful mark. For many, it's like navigating a stormy sea, never quite sure where their emotions end and others begin. Figuring out what's yours and what belongs to someone else can be a real challenge. The lines blur, and sometimes the heart gets tangled in the pain and joy of others. This silent reality follows those who, with a unique sensitivity, experience the world with an intensity that feels almost mystical. Being an empath often means walking a lonely road, where the burden of carrying others' emotions intertwines with the gift of understanding what few others can. But does this journey have to be so aimless? Or is there a deeper path that leads us to balance between feeling and being? The struggle of being an empath. Being an empath is like carrying an emotional compass that's constantly drawn to the feelings of others. Every shift in the environment, every emotional fluctuation, seems to resonate inside the empath, turning what could be a gift into a heavy burden. The world, with its intense waves of energy, becomes a turbulent ocean. These emotions, absorbed without control, build up inside, creating an invisible weight. Emotional exhaustion becomes a constant companion, draining the empath's vitality and often leaving them too depleted to manage their own emotions. It's as if, with each new day, their soul is being swept away by a tide, with no anchor to hold on to. Yet, there is wisdom in recognizing this burden. The question that echoes deep within is, how long must one carry the world's pain without taking a moment to breathe? Perhaps, within this challenging journey, there's a hidden answer waiting to be found as the empath searches for their own balance. The need for boundaries. Recognizing the gift of empathy is the first step toward protecting yourself from emotional overload. It's like realizing that, while your heart is vast, it doesn't have to absorb everything around it. Creating clear boundaries is like building an energetic container, a space where others' emotions can be observed but don't have to be internalized. This container is an invisible fortress, made of intention and energy. It allows the empath to distinguish between what belongs to others and what is truly theirs. Knowing what's being sent out and what's being absorbed becomes a crucial skill, a continuous practice of mindfulness and energetic self-defense. In the end, setting boundaries isn't just about emotional survival, it's an act of self-respect. The lingering question is, how can you keep helping others without losing yourself in the flood of emotions trying to invade your being? The traits of empaths. Empaths are like sensitive antennas, picking up on emotional signals that others often miss. It's as if they have an invisible connection to the energy around them, feeling pain and joy even before words are spoken. This sensitivity goes beyond the physical, touching the unseen, the deeply felt yet unspoken. An empath's intuition acts as a silent beacon, guiding them through complex emotional seas. They detect the subtle shifts in energy around them, like winds carrying changes through the air. Crowded places can feel overwhelming, with collective emotions weighing heavily on their shoulders. Every empath moves through a world where the boundaries between the internal and external easily dissolve. But within this merging lies wisdom. How do you navigate these seas while keeping your essence intact, even as you continue to feel what the world throws your way? The challenges of emotional absorption. An empath's life can often feel like that of a sponge, absorbing everything around them indiscriminately. Other people's emotions seep in deeply, often without warning, like a sudden wave crashing in. The result is an internal confusion, where personal feelings and those of others blend into a fog of emotions that are hard to distinguish. This constant emotional absorption can deeply affect an empath's daily life. It's like walking through a minefield of energies, never knowing when a simple encounter might overwhelm their emotional system. The soul, always on high alert, can begin to feel drained, with no safe space to recharge. Because of this, empaths often find themselves needing to build emotional barriers. But how do you build those walls without losing your sensitive nature? Perhaps the answer lies in balancing feeling with protection, a delicate dance between having an open heart and the necessary safeguards. The mechanics of emotional absorption. An empath's emotional absorption can be seen as a survival mechanism, something developed over time to adapt to the energies around them. From childhood, an empath often unconsciously learns to absorb emotions as a way to connect with the world. It's as if, by feeling what others feel, they can navigate a complex emotional universe more safely. These absorption patterns often run deep, shaped by early life experiences. Times when sensitivity was used as a way to understand and calm difficult situations. Over time, this behavior becomes almost automatic, a second nature that the empath carries within, like an energetic merging of their own being with the world. But the absorbed energy doesn't just disappear. It blends into the empath's field, like a fog slowly filling the space. Understanding this process is crucial to breaking the cycle of overload and creating new ways of interacting energetically that preserve emotional integrity. So how can we begin to untangle these invisible bonds that have formed over the years? Breaking the cycle of absorption. Strengthening emotional and energetic boundaries is a vital practice for empaths seeking to break the cycle of constant absorption. Imagine an invisible shield, consciously crafted, that protects your being from external emotions without stifling your sensitivity. Each time this shield is reinforced, the empath begins to regain control over what enters and what stays outside. Recognizing emotional individuality is another crucial step. Like a beacon shining in the dark, empaths must learn to illuminate their own feelings, separating them from the emotional storms around them. This recognition brings clarity, allowing the energetic fusion to dissipate and the empath's true self to emerge with greater strength. But the journey doesn't end there. Daily practices of boundary reinforcement become as natural as breathing. It's a rebuilding of an inner safe space, where the empath can exist fully without being overwhelmed by others' weight. How, then, can we turn these practices into habits that shape our daily lives and bring lightness to the soul? Establishing boundaries. Saying no can be one of the most powerful actions an empath can take. It's not just about the words themselves, but an act of self-affirmation that draws clear boundaries in the emotional landscape. Each no is like placing a stone in an invisible wall, a reminder that the empath has the right to preserve their own energy. Visualizations also become an essential tool in this process. Picture creating energetic barriers as a golden light surrounding your body, a protective field that keeps external emotions from crossing into your defenses. These barriers are flexible but strong, allowing the empath to engage with the world without being overwhelmed by it. Through mindfulness practice, these boundaries become even more solid. Mindfulness helps the empath stay present, aware of their own emotions and the energies around them. It's an invitation to remain at peace with oneself, even amid the emotional chaos of others. But can these practices truly transform how we relate to the world around us? Building an energetic container. Imagine an energetic container as an invisible shield, a subtle barrier that surrounds your entire being. This container isn't rigid, it's shaped by intention and practice, adjusting as needed. By building and reinforcing this shield, the empath learns to keep external energy at a distance, allowing their own energy to remain intact and balanced. The techniques for building this container can vary, but they all center around visualizing and feeling this protection around your body. Each time the empath practices these techniques, it's like adding an extra layer of defense, a fortress that prevents others' emotions from infiltrating their energetic space. It's a continuous practice, but over time, it becomes a natural part of daily life. Using this technique in everyday situations is where its true power shines. Whether in a crowded environment or during an emotionally charged interaction, the empath can activate this container, staying centered and protected. How can we integrate this practice effectively so it becomes an ever-present tool, ready to be used when needed? Maintaining energetic balance. Maintaining energetic balance is an act of deep connection with your body and the emotions that dwell within it. It's like dancing to a silent melody, where every step is guided by intuition and sensitivity. Feeling the internal flow of energy allows the empath to recognize when it's time to rest and when it's time to open up to the world again. Self-care becomes the foundation of this practice. Setting aside moments for reflection and introspection is like diving into a calm ocean, where the empath can recharge their energy and cleanse the emotions they've accumulated. In this quiet space, true regeneration occurs, restoring the balance that is often lost in the emotional whirlwinds of daily life. Recognizing the limits of your own energy is essential to maintaining this balance. The empath must learn to listen to their body, feel when their energy is running low, and respect those signals. But how can we ensure that these moments of self-care and balance become a regular part of our lives, and not just an occasional refuge? Transforming sensitivity into power. Sensitivity, often seen as a vulnerability, can be transformed into a powerful tool for connection. It's as if the empath holds a key that opens doors closed to others, allowing them to connect with deep emotions and subtle truths. When harnessed correctly, this sensitivity becomes a channel for genuine empathy and emotional support. Techniques to focus this attention are essential to prevent the empath from getting lost in others' emotions. By directing their sensitivity toward areas where it can truly make a difference, the empath transforms perception into positive action. It's like guiding a beam of light through a lens, concentrating energy to illuminate specific needs, rather than scattering it aimlessly across the environment. This process also builds self-confidence and emotional autonomy. As the empath learns to control their sensitivity, they realize they are not merely passive recipients of the world's energies but active creators of their own emotional reality. However, this transformation requires conscious and continuous practice. What other ways can we explore to turn this sensitivity into a source of personal power? Possible techniques for harnessing sensitivity. Grounding practices. Grounding yourself in nature or through mindfulness exercises helps balance sensitivity with inner strength. By staying connected to the earth or practicing mindfulness, you can prevent external energies from destabilizing your emotional foundation. Energy redirection. Channeling your sensitivity into creative outlets, art, writing, or music, allows you to process emotions constructively, turning what could be overwhelming into a source of inspiration and healing. Selective empathy. Learning to choose when and where to engage emotionally can empower empaths to protect their energy. This doesn't mean closing off. It's about discerning where your empathy can be most impactful and ensuring you don't deplete yourself in the process. Each of these methods can help empaths strengthen their power while still honoring their deep emotional capacity.